All right, everybody, welcome to Rogues Gallery episode number 12. I am Chris, the Batman statue collector. Sorry about the delay we had tonight. There's been some issues with Hangouts, with people not being able to hear each other. And so hopefully we'll be good for the rest of the show. We have a great panel tonight. Some people couldn't make it. They were supposed to be here tonight, but we might have people popping in throughout the show. But I do want to mention or introduce all the gallery tonight. Joining us for the very first time, and I believe you have announced today that you've gone back to your original name, correct? Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have the cheap ass statue collector right here. Tim is joining us for the first time. Welcome.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. I had to change my camera angle too because I wanted to get the Rogues Gallery in the view for you guys.
I love that print. That looks good up there. Absolutely. And people are wanting it, so I'm glad you got one. That's right. We also have Child of the Atom, Mr. A-Tim is in the house.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me on.
Featured collector this month. Everybody's loving A-Tim. Everybody's loving A-Tim's beard, especially. I think all the likes have been just for the beard. So thank you very much for that.
What are the dislikes for?
Who knows? We also have returning once again from parts unknown. We have Rogue Rick himself. Rick Shaw is in the house.
Happy to be here.
Absolutely. Welcome once again. Jeremy's back with us again.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Thanks for having me again.
And last but not least, we have Mr. Lawrence Old Jr. again.
No, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
As always. Like I said, we had a couple of other people that wanted to be here tonight. I know Jeff was wanting to be here, but he was not feeling well. And again, we might have a couple of people popping in. But I thought before we get started tonight, we have a couple of topics that we're going to do. The first topic that we're going to cover is I want to talk about the future of collecting, not only the future of where we see collecting going, but also just where you see your collections going. I'd really be interested in seeing the direction you're going, endpoints, how your collection might change here soon. I'm curious as to hear that. I'm also wanting to talk a little bit about some of the really cool movie trailers that we've had here recently. But before we get started, I just wanted to say I hope you guys are well, and anything going on in your life that you guys wanted to say hey or talk about before we get started. All right. All right.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. All right. Well, let's get started then. So like I said, we're going to talk about the futures of our collections. And I know a lot of times on a lot of these shows, we've talked about it kind of ad nauseum about statue prices, people getting priced out, people having to be more selective with their collections. And I was just curious as to what you guys thought about all of that and how it's kind of changed how you've been collecting recently and kind of what the future is in your collection. What is the direction you're going? I know I've had some conversations with Rick here recently about his change in focus. So Rick, if you wouldn't mind, let's start with you.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I've been collecting for a while, and I really kind of went under the kind of philosophy of just, and I have tried my hand a few times at just trying to get like a focus because I can kind of be all over the place. And finally, believe it or not, I've actually done it. I went on a selling spree, and I know Chris and I have talked about it a lot, some of the stuff that I've been able to do. And I mean, I've sold probably, I don't know, maybe a dozen statues in the last month or so, including some hot toys and stuff. Really wanted to get a focus. I kind of narrowed it down to a few characters that I would be interested in collecting, and sort of fell on Batman, just for obvious reasons. I mean, he's been pretty much my favorite character since childhood. So my focus is solely on Batman, but I didn't really want to just kind of limit myself to like one company. So I'm pretty much collecting anything from like 6th scale all the way up to 3rd scale Batman pieces. I really like Prime 1, of course. I got some 3rd scales and probably going to get a few more of those. And then, of course, Sideshow, Tweeterhead. I do like Hot Toys, so I'm probably going to get a few of those. I really just needed a way to kind of hone in on something. I mean, everybody knows it's in the collecting world. There's a lot of fan art. There's a lot of companies that have kind of dipped their toe into statues, and it's gotten to the point where, a few years back you didn't have this many choices. So I think a lot of people are kind of feeling the stress of the prices and the shipping prices, and too many choices, and I know I've talked to some people about shipping and how that's kind of changed the way they look at what they buy. It's really kind of made me look a little bit more about maybe less things every year, and maybe more making sure I get something real special as opposed to just getting something and then moving on to the next thing. So I'm kind of spacing things out, and I've reorganized. Yeah, basically, I mean, I'm just Batman all the way now, and I know Batman's one of those characters you can collect, and you have plenty of stuff to choose from. So that's pretty much where my head is at in my collecting. I mean, I do collect comic books, and I do collect, I do kind of want to get into some of the CGC and stuff like that. But it's pretty much all I got. It's pretty simple. I mean, it's actually been kind of liberating for me. I can kind of kick back and just enjoy all the other stuff without actually trying to buy it. So I know Chris did it, years ago, and he's a lot of the inspiration why I actually decided to do this, and it stressed me out. I mean, when you've got several companies making X-Men pieces, I don't want to speak for Tim. I know he's probably going to talk about that, but you got companies coming out with all these different variations, and it's just too much. So had to get some focus.
Well, like you mentioned, like for me, it was one of those things where I was just so stressed out all the time because I wanted everything. I'm a big giant Star Wars fan. I'm a big X-Men, or I mean, not just X-Men, but I love Marvel in general. I collected a whole bunch of that stuff, and I had all of these random pieces. And I really enjoyed that, but at one point it was too much, not only for the price of trying to budget for these things, but also then just for my own sanity, because like I said, I just wanted everything. What made you finally decide? Because I know, like I said, we've had a lot of conversations over the last year or so about the stress that you've been under, wanting everything, and collecting addiction and things like that. Like, how did you finally settle on one thing and know that was going to be right for you?
I think it's one of those things that kind of naturally evolved. I mean, when I first got into collecting, I started out with smaller stuff, like even like Kotobukiya and stuff like that. And I think what kept happening, and I think it was sort of like glaring, and I know I mentioned this to you, Chris, there was a point where it was sort of like I got a moment of clarity where I would look at statues, and all of us spend hours looking at statues. Like, we go to Sideshow and we peruse everything. We go to, we see the groups, and I would peruse all the stuff, and it almost felt like I kept coming back to Batman. It was, I would see Batman stuff, and it caught my eye, quicker, and it sort of sucked me in, and I think I've told you, Chris, that I had a few moments where I almost just quit entirely because I was so stressed out, and it just felt like my head was all over the place. So I would spend hours agonizing over, do I get this piece? Do I get this piece? And I like too many things. And just like you said, Chris, I love Star Wars. I love Marvel. I love the X-Men. I grew up, with X-Men stuff. I mean, anything nerdy that you could possibly like, I mean, I was doing it. When I was growing up in high school, I was the one at the weird table at the cafeteria that nobody wanted to, sit with. Like, I would have to bribe someone to take me to prom. It was like, that was who I was. So when I got into this collecting world, it's like there's all this crazy, awesome stuff. And it's like, there's Luke Skywalker. You'd sit with me? Awesome. You'll be like the bearded brother. Exactly. Well, that's cool, man. I appreciate that. We'd talk X-Men. It'd be great, But yeah, so to me, loving all that stuff, and then, loving all these movies and all this pop culture, He-Man, I've talked to Lawrence about He-Man. I grew up with He-Man. It's all this stuff, and then it was like, I've got to do something. Whenever I'm stressing that much about which thing to buy, and I'm buying these massive dust collectors for, $600 to $1,000, $1,200, I had to take a step back and go, what am I going to do to fix this problem? And for me, it was purging. And, as I was boxing up all these statues and, sending them out to people and taping the boxes, it was almost like there was a weight being lifted off of me. It's the weirdest thing. And maybe Chris probably had the same experience when he started to focus on Batman stuff and selling all of his Marvel and Star Wars. You almost feel like I'm there. Like, I know what I'm doing now. And, with Tim, with his X-Men, I'm sure he probably feels that way too. But it's like you feel kind of liberated. So for me, if you're one of those people, and not everybody's like this, but if you're one of those people that was like me and maybe like Chris, how he felt, that needed a focus for their sanity, I would strongly encourage you to take a look at your collection and and purge the things out of it that you don't truly love, and start fresh with a new focus. If you're one of those people who have no concern whatsoever about this stuff and you can just grab anything you want, more power to you. But I'm just not one of those people. That's just not me.
Absolutely. Well, I even, recently I sold 4 or 5 statues, and some of them were Prime 1 pieces. Some of them were hard for me to let go, but it just wasn't where my direction was going.
Right.
So I had to make those tough choices. One of those was my half-scale Joker from Prime 1. Like that was hard for me to sell, but I found a different piece that I wanted more, and so that was more important to me and still staying in my focus. But looking at the statues and saying, do I really like that one? I know a lot of people say, well, I don't buy statues that I don't love. But I find that you always have that initial excitement, but then after time, sometimes it's like, I could part with that one. And so that's kind of where I was at. But thank you for sharing your thoughts on that. Lawrence, how about you? Where are you kind of at with your collection, and where do you see it going?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I'm the best guy for this conversation, but what I will tell you is that my focus is really extremely narrow at this point because I'm mostly because of space. I am just out of room, and I've got this one small office room that my collection is in. I'm not willing to put it in other rooms to kind of take over the rest of the house. Like many of you, I have just the one room. And for me, I'm out of space, and I don't want to get rid of any of the pieces that I have. So I have 2 POs now. Those POs, one is the Tweeterhead Batman, and the other is the Pop Culture Shock He-Man that Sideshow is going to redistribute. So I'm very excited about those 2 pieces. I have a lot of excitement around those and a lot of anticipation to get those pieces. I think they're going to be great pieces. I have seen the He-Man. I think it's a great piece, and I'm excited to get those in my collection. But I'm even struggling trying to figure out where I'm going to put those 2 pieces. One is 6 scale, and one is quarter scale. And I am trying to figure out, oh my gosh, where am I going to put these? And I've got some time because I don't think either one's going to be out until like July of this year or something like that. And I've got time to figure it out, but I just don't have any more room. One of the other things that's been really freeing for me, I had been a comic book collector since around 2010, so for the past 9 years, and literally just 2 weeks ago, I said, I'm getting out of space for that too. And they're just sitting, comic boxes out in my garage, and I'm like, wait a second, what's the point? What is the point of doing that? I'm just buying these books, I read them, they go in a backer board and a sleeve and get put in a box. So I stopped. I cut all my pools, stopped cold turkey. That was very freeing too. So it was just sort of like those moments. So I don't know. There are little things. I mean, my direction, if I have a direction or I'm going to change direction, I'm definitely going to focus more on Masters of the Universe going forward than I am even Batman. Batman's still up there for me. Don't get me wrong, but I'm finding that there are some older pieces of Masters of the Universe that I'm still interested in picking up, and may do that. Smaller busts, I'm okay with smaller pieces. There's a set of the NECA busts that I really like. I'd like to collect that whole set and kind of finish out that grouping of those busts. I think they look really good. And that's my direction at this point. I'm buying some smaller stuff like the Loyal Subjects. If you guys have heard of that particular company, they're like little plastic 3-inch figures.
No, never heard of that.
So they look like I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, so they're like a little bit like Pops, just a little bit more.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So, and these are pretty highly collectible. They have some that are like, variants and chase variants and stuff like that. And so I've been collecting some of the Masters of the Universe of these little guys, and they're fun. They're just little action figures, but I just don't have the space to do anything else. There's some awesome fan art out there of some Masters of the Universe stuff, and I would jump on it, but I don't have anywhere to put it.
I don't know. Did you see the interview from Monster Palooza with Dave Igo this weekend?
I did not. No.
So somebody asked him about a Masters of the Universe and if they were going to continue the line, and they said, I think he basically said that they had not been able to continue with the license, but
Okay.
they were hoping to work with Tweeterhead to finish out the license through them. So
Okay.
That would be cool.
I
That
thought
would be
that was
cool,
actually really cool news because a lot of people really like that Orko, and I think it could be really cool if they did that.
Yeah, I think they did great stuff. I mean, Sideshow knocked it out of the park with those pieces for sure. Even the ones I don't have, the Evil Lyn, the She-Ra, all of those look great, and I think they did an awesome job. I'd love to see a Man at Arms. You know, that might be one that I get simply because no one's really done a statue of that before. PCS has a statue of it, but that's about
My buddy Wayne did a custom. I think he did like 10 of them of Man at Arms, and it's awesome.
I saw that one. That one is so cool. I think I've seen pictures of that one.
He sculpted that. It took him, I think, over a year. He sculpted out of wax.
Wow,
That's
awesome.
crazy. Yeah, it's so crazy.
Yeah, that is so cool. But yeah, that's really my focus at this point. So just mostly collecting Masters of the Universe stuff, and don't have any more room for big pieces. So I'm pretty much done.
So do you still see yourself wanting to collect though? Like, or do you still at some point say, well, crap, there's all these other great pieces now. I'm going to have to figure out something. Do you feel that way? Or do you feel like after your last two pieces, you are done?
No, like I look at those pieces and I say, man, that would be sweet, but I just can't do it. I just can't. And it's, I'm able to take that deep breath and just let it go.
That's awesome. It's not easy to do.
No.
At all.
You've
Props to
ascended.
you.
That's right.
I don't know.
Statue Nirvana, as I believe.
I'm just not willing to buy a bigger house.
Hey, I do want to welcome Barbara to the chat. It's nice to have you here.
Thanks for the invite. I'm so sorry I'm so late.
Absolutely. Well, we're just talking about kind of the futures of our collections, where we see, with price increases and, it's harder to collect these days, for space and price. We're just trying to talk about what we feel is the direction of our collection going forward. So that's kind of where we're at. So I'll let you think about that for just a few minutes. Why don't we move on? Let's do Tim. We haven't heard from you yet. What do you think? Where's your collection at?
I'm in a purge stage. Yeah. I feel like every collector kind of goes through that kind of journey. Like my main focus has always been X-Men, and 90% of my stuff is X-Men stuff. But throughout the years, I see stuff and I'm like, man, I really love that. And then I get it, and of course I love it. It looks beautiful and it's striking and the characters are important. But as I'm running out of room, I'm like, yo, things got to go. Something's got to go so something else can come in. Either that or I just got to kind of throw up my arms and say, I'm done because I'm truly almost out of room. Like I have no place else to put statues. So I'm kind of in the similar boat to Lawrence and Rick right now. A lot of things are going out, and then as soon as the money comes in, it goes right out to somebody else for a piece to finish. Like I sold my Pop Culture Shock reptile. It paid for Mystique. So
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thanks. Yeah, I love it. Here go. Tack is in the chat saying he heard me swear I was going for Spider-Man pieces. No, but I am selling my Spider-Man Legendary bus if you want to buy the set. So, yeah, I mean, there's going to be a couple of choice pieces that always stick around. My Silver Surfer Comic-Cat's never going anywhere. That'll be in my collection for the rest of my career collecting. And then my Daredevil life-size bust will never go anywhere. That'll always be here. But everything else, I'm kind of impartial to. Scorpion will probably stay too from Pop Culture Shock. But everything else, that's not X-Men can go, because that'll open up the opportunity for me to collect like 50 more statues.
Which is awesome. So you're not. I mean, you love them while you have them, but you're not tied to them necessarily. At least
yeah. I mean, I think over the years I've learned what love really means. And, you know,
I want to know what love is.
Why don't you explain it to us?
you know,
Tell us
so
about love, Tim. Tell us about love.
I call it lust a lot of times, not really love, personally, when it comes to statues.
yeah, I mean, you know, like who doesn't love Galactus? He's fucking
Yeah.
awesome. He's a fucking planet-eating monster.
Yeah, he's cool.
And I have the legendary scale bust, and it's incredible. It's an amazing piece. But maybe a life-size Wolverine bust will suit my heart better. And maybe it's time for me to say, hey, this Galactus has to go so I can get that Wolverine, or else I'll never get that Wolverine, you know? And that's the decision that I have to make as a passionate collector. Like, where does my true passion lie, and where does just my lie? You know, when I go to a restaurant, I get what I really want, not what, you know, like is good for me, I guess. Like, let me get the lobster and steak. I should have a chicken salad, you know? Fucking old and fat. So.
Well, that's
You know,
awesome.
you may not know, but that was actually the first title of this show. It was Old and Fat Live. We decided to change it.
Yeah.
It had a nice ring to it, but you
It
know.
did, yeah. I liked it.
Well, that's awesome. How about we hear from Mr. Cheap Ass Collector here, Mr. Tim?
Oh, hey.
Take it away, yeah.
Well, thanks for having me on again. Yeah, I understand where you guys are all coming from, but I just want to buy what I want to buy. But you do have to focus a little bit, though. I've got stuff. I wrote it down here when I'm collecting. For anyone that doesn't know me, I had like over 300 Eagle Moth statues, and I purged those. And I did that because the channel that used to do the collectors chat was Lou's channel and the Immortalized in Stone Facebook group, and he passed away, and that changed a lot of my thinking on how I was collecting. And I purged a little bit, but on my line, I have multiple lines, but talking with his family and talking with other people, I know a lot of other people that purged their statues, at least the ones that they really didn't love. I did it because I had 300 Eagle Moth statues, and they were like tiny little lead figures. And I'm like, if I ever pass away, my wife is gonna be stuck with all this stuff. You know what I mean? And so I ended up selling a lot of comic books. I ended up selling just a lot of stuff because it's not really that easy to sell this stuff and get money. You know what I mean? Because you got to deal with shipping, and you know, you guys all know about all the horror stories that you see on Facebook with people. You know, ripping people off and doing shady stuff on eBay. So I went, and it took me over a year to sell 300 Eagle Moth statues.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy, but you know, that helped me focus on just some of the bigger statues. I sold some Walking Dead dioramas, and I wanted to just focus on just a few of the Sideshow, the Dead. I think that's what they're called. Not Court of the Dead, but they're the line before the Court of the
They're
Dead.
the original ones, yeah.
Yeah, there's a few more out there, but I'm gonna take my time and get those because they're already all sold out. And if you guys don't know too, I collect dioramas in Marvel and DC.
That's great. So cool.
Yeah, so and then I've got like a one-off Wolf Predator, 1/3 statue back there with some 1/6 statues. So I feel like I'm all over the place, but I like it. You know what I mean? But I feel like it's somewhat focused to what I like the most. I got like a random like Hulk over here with this Superman as villains, and then I collect art prints, right? And that's another issue too. It's art prints and other things that I collect. But what I'm focusing now on is dioramas and my Batman villain line. I remember when Chris, you actually first started your YouTube channel. You were kind of my inspiration on where I wanted to go with this line.
Awesome.
You're basically yeah,
right back there. Yep.
and I was like, I really like that idea. And so I also went that way with Superman, at least with the 1/4 size statues. So I'm getting Doomsday in, and then I'm gonna get the Brainiac from Prime 1, from Injustice 2 line that they've got going on.
That thing's wild.
It is
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, so I've got multiple lines, but I'm kind of focused though. Like you said, you guys are right though. You know, sell some of these, other statues that are kind of like a one-off, and you'll feel better about it, and your collection will look a little bit better too when you kind of have, you know what I mean, like a focus and a theme to go with it and stuff like that. And yeah, but I'm also buying just multiple stuff as well, multiple lines. So it's kind of dangerous, and you got to take your time. My advice is if you're like me and you want to buy a lot of stuff, wait for the edition sizes to be announced, and you know what I mean, because maybe you could pick that up later and cheaper, and you probably can't afford it now anyways, because there's so much stuff out there between all the customs and everything else going on with XM and Prime 1, and but that's kind of where I see I've got 3 pre-orders right now on the books, and I got 2 more that I'm definitely going to pre-order, but I'm waiting on edition size and stuff like that. But so this year for me, it's a little slow for sure, but I'm always looking for older stuff as well. But
I have to say, like, just looking at your collection, there's a lot of different pieces to it, but it all looks very good together. I think, especially, I love the art. I feel like the art really ties it all together, which is really cool. And you've just done a really good job of just putting it all together. I commend you for that. I think it looks great.
thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, looks good.
I also wanted to commend you too. You mentioned Lou and Vic. I did not know them well. I did watch Immortalized in Stone when I was first starting out, kind of hit and miss. I didn't know everybody in the community yet, but I just want to tip my hat to you for continuing on that legacy, because that's really cool.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, and if Lou was here too, he'd be happy to see like how the community has kind of like blossomed. You know what I mean? Everyone's doing all these chats and everything else, and it's pretty cool where everything is gone. Just in a few years. But then the prices go up now.
I know. There's always something, right? There's
Yeah.
always something.
Yeah.
That's well, but maybe we're gonna reach a tipping point and then they'll come back down. We'll see. I got my fingers crossed. I'm not gonna hold my breath though.
Yeah.
Let's see. How about Barbara? How about you? Where are your collections at right now, and where do you see it going?
So, where I see it going, it's going to be a little bit crazy for the next year. I think we've got about close to 30 pre-orders, and maybe a few more that we want to get that we haven't pre-ordered. So we have kind of like a little bit of work to do on what we want to, where we want to display them, how we're going to tackle that down. I know my husband wants to do a couple of custom recessed cabinets like we did in the entrance with one of the closets. So my daughter's room has like an extra walk-in closet. She's got 2 closets. So that walk-in closet, the wall is to the outside, towards the living room area. So we're planning on making those recessed cabinets, like custom made. So with with the statues, I think right now with what we have on pre-order, I think we're good. The thing is that since we collect X-Men, it's just so many characters, and we have a couple of them that are already double, and we also do a little bit of Spider-Man. It's very hard to just, quit at one point, because then all these characters keep coming out, and then you're like, okay, well, nobody has made that. I want to get it. So we're at that point where, every other month they're coming out with something new. So for right now, with what we got pre-ordered, we're pretty much good, which we were actually discussing today, me and my husband. He was actually telling me, you know what, I think I'm good with the statues. And we've gotten really into collecting comics, whether they're in raw format or whether they're slab. We've really gotten heavy into that. Me specifically, I love the artwork. He actually has read a lot of these older comics, like the Jim Lee run, X-Men, he's read that. So he's more familiar with that. But me, more towards the artwork and the first appearances, because I do love the characters. So I want to collect mainly like
history.
The appearances on the characters, yeah. So I think that's where we're at right now. It's just very hard, and we try to stay like, like Tim said, we try to stay focused on one thing. At one point, I mean, we've been collecting for so many years. At one point, we had a bunch of different statues from different companies, like Card Hero, stuff like that. And we got rid of all of them. We actually had a few Bo and Mini statues. We also got rid of those. We decided to stay with a few of the 1/6 scales and focus on the quarter scale statues. Now, we do have a couple of the 1/5, like the Angel statue. We have that Sabretooth versus Wolverine, which is also 1/5. So we got a couple of those, but I don't think we'll ever get rid of those because those are kind of like special to us. We really like those statues, so those will stick with us. And we're kind of a little bit, in a way, I guess you would say not really attached to them, but it's kind of hard to kind of get rid of them, It's like, I was actually thinking of getting rid of my Sideshow Storm, and when I was gonna put her up for sale, I backed down and I said, forget about it. I can't part with it. So it's kind of like one of those things where you say you're gonna do it, and then when you actually go do it, you can't. You back out. So it's kind of hard. It's taken us a long time to get to where we're at. So to get rid of them, it's kind of a little bit hard to just say, hey, I'm gonna get rid of those.
Do you think it'd be easier if you were out of space at this point?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. But I guess since we both collect, we really don't mind where we put them. So we just keep creating more space here and there. And right now, one of the things that we're getting into that we don't want to get into too much is we're getting the 1/3 Batman and Superman, and also the 1/3 the Batman Who Laughs. So I think for DC, that's where we're going to stop right there. We're not going to go any further than that, because then we're going to get into this whole new world, and it's going to get crazy. But I do feel we do need at least a Superman and a Batman in our collection.
That's cool. And one thing I think that sets your collection a little bit apart from a lot of us, we just have like a small room or kind of a room off to the side where you actually incorporate it into your living spaces. And I love that. It gives you so much more space, and it looks so amazing. So I commend you guys for that. I think it's really awesome.
Well, we have a little bit more liberty now. Back when we started collecting, our kids were very small. So our collection was very limited to a curio, or like one of those cabinets. So it was just limited to that one space. And then we got into collecting, then we stopped, and then we got back in, and then we got rid of stuff, and then we decided to get back in. But like I said, our space was so small, it was very limited, and we had the kids were little. So now they're older, and now we're able to actually just display them out in the open, and nobody touches them. They actually, they give their input on where they want stuff to go, and things like that.
That's dope.
Yeah. It
is cool, and it's cool that you guys collect together. Like that is really cool, because I feel like that is somewhat rare as well.
Yeah, I've actually seen in some cases. Well, I have 4 kids. Not all 4 of my kids are really into it. My oldest is 19. He's really like, he'll walk in and he'll see us talking about statues or something, and he'll just be like, "You guys are just geeks," So it's kind of funny. My second oldest and my youngest, my daughter, they're very much into it. They really do love the collecting and going to the cons and stuff like that.
That's really cool. That's awesome. And just so everybody knows, Atem was my featured collector this month, but Barbara's going to be next month.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to feature her and her collection, and you guys are in for a treat because it's amazing. So that's very cool. Jeremy, how about you? Let's see if we can hear him.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
sorry,
good.
I couldn't hear Barbara, so I was listening to it on my phone.
Oh, okay.
So
having some audio issues.
My I don't know, man. My collection's kind of just everywhere at the moment. I used to collect just like the 1/6 scale. Started collecting the 1/4, and I don't know. I think there's just so many companies now that do just such great things that it's kind of hard for me to keep my focus on like one scale. I do keep my budget in mind, so I don't just pre-order everything that I see. But I don't know, like right now I collect everything. I collect Hot Toys, I collect 6 scale, I collect 1/4, 1/3. I also collect art prints. So it's just kind of everywhere at the moment. It is kind of hard, I only have so much room, just like everybody else. I have one small little room for my collection, and I'm constantly changing things around to try to like fit new pieces in and stuff like that. So it's just a revolving door right now. So kind of just whatever I see that I like is kind of what I start to pre-order. So like right now, I have like for Hot Toys, I have the Justice League line that's pre-ordered. From Sideshow, the only thing I have pre-ordered right now is I have some of the animated series stuff. I don't really have anything else from them on pre-order. And then most of my other pre-orders right now are actually from Prime One. I have the Cyborg Superman. I have the Justice League Superman and Wonder Woman. Canceled the Batman, unfortunately, just for space and funds. And then I have the 1/3 Hawkman pre-ordered. So it's kind of what my pre-orders. It's kind of what my pre-orders look like right now.
That's cool.
But,
well, you have a whole bunch of people in the chat offering you money for your Doomsday. The Stormy Wood says, "I want that big Doomsday. How much you want, bro?"
Oh man, I don't know. He's gonna be hard to get rid of. He's like my prized possession right now. So
That's awesome. That's
It was
awesome.
a monster.
So let me ask one final question to the panel, other than Lawrence, because you kind of alluded to it. But do any of you see an end game with your collection, or do you always see yourself collecting?
Yes. Wait. Yes, I see myself collecting probably always. It's fucked up.
Yeah, I've got a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 4-month-old. So I'm waiting for them to grow up and get out of the house so I can keep buying and have more room. So there's no end
I
game.
like it.
Tim, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I feel the
I have a
same way. I feel like
19-year-old.
I'll just expand as my kids get older. I mean, why quit, right?
That's
Yeah.
not gonna happen. My 19-year-old says he doesn't want to leave the house till he's 30. So don't count on that.
Oh, that's funny. That's very cool. Well, I want to give a shout out real quick to the people in the chat that are here with us tonight. Kind of go back here a little bit. All right, we've got Edwin Diaz, Robert Martinez, Jesse Hernandez, Archangel's in the house, Emperor Collector, Quinn St. Kitts. Let's see, who else do we got here? That is Real is here. Divine. Let's see. Child of the Atom.
Yeah.
Barbara Lopez is here. Let's see. Red Hood. Jeff Morris is in the house. How you feel better, Jeff? Let's see. Whiplash Collectors. I know I saw Jim Mint. I want to give him a shout out. Emperor Collectors. Whiplash Collectors. Hey, Steven. B. Alex Thompson, hello. Jeff Gerard, hello, my friend. Elimino Popsicle. Let's see if I'm missing anybody. Nate Nance. Stormy Woods. ATV Racer, hello.
You.
I think I'm kind of caught up. If I missed you, let's see. Tin Man, Ro Marino. Hopefully I got most of you. Anyway, thank you guys so very much for being here tonight. That's awesome. Very cool. All right. Well, let's move on. I want to talk a little bit about some of the movie trailers. I've been really excited here lately. The two that have kind of really caught my eye is the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix and also the new Star Wars movie. And I wanted to kind of hear your thoughts about what movies you're excited about, if you thought those trailers were awesome too, or if you're excited or you think they're kind of ho-hum. I'd love to hear you guys kind of weigh in on what you're excited about for movies as we get closer to the summer.
That Joker looks fucking awesome, man. That looks
I
so
agree.
good.
Yeah, it does. That
I'm
Joker looks
super
awesome.
interested in that, man.
And it's I mean it's so counterintuitive to what you expect for, I suppose, a comic book movie. It's not a comic book movie. It's this character study. I think they've mentioned that from the beginning. I think it looks really great. I'm really excited about that one. I think they've got a DC has a really cool opportunity to do something, pull off something that can be really groundbreaking, and then hopefully open the gateway for more character study based type stories.
Well, it's interesting because this one's going to be marketed toward adults, which, you know, most comic book movies haven't. You know, they want that kid audience. and the adult audience as well. So it'll be real interesting to see what they do with that. But I'm very excited. I've never had a trailer, or at least it's been a long time, maybe Dark Knight, where I watched it and I had goosebumps. Like, that is, I don't know. Did you guys feel that at all with that trailer?
I'm actually excited for that movie too. Very excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Some people, I did a trailer reaction, and it's got like, I don't know, there's a ton of views, which I was shocked. But so many people were negative, and they said that, about the origin, or it's Joker's not supposed to have an origin. How do you guys weigh in on that? I have my own opinion, but I'd love to hear what you guys think.
I have an opinion on that. I'm probably one of the ones that negative commented, because I don't really I don't like Joker. Yeah, I don't like Joker origins at all. It's not my Joker. I think it looks really well done, and I do like Joaquin Phoenix as an actor. But to me, it takes away some of the mystery. I know it's not an official origin or comic book or whatever, but it doesn't do it for me. I wasn't at all excited, just being 100% honest. I was hoping for something different, I guess. But I wasn't I didn't have high hopes, just because I was afraid they were going to try to go deep into an origin for Joker. And part of the mystery to me of Joker is, it's kind of the idea that, Batman doesn't know everything about him, and he's an agent of chaos, and he can't predict him. He can't get to the bottom of how to stop him a lot of times, because he doesn't know what he's going to do next. And he has to really work hard at that. And I think, just from a comic book reading perspective, the more I know about Joker, the less interesting he becomes, just personally. But I understand if someone feels differently, but that's just my personal take on it. So I kind of do sympathize with the non-Joker origin people a little bit. I kind of see their point. I've read a lot of Batman comics, and I always liked that sort of dynamic, to where you even take just Heath Ledger's portrayal of Joker in The Dark Knight. Christian Bale's Batman was so confused by him. It's just like, what do I do? How do I deal with this guy? I don't know enough about him. Like, I don't know how to stop him, because he's doing things just to do things, and he doesn't have a background that anybody knows of, and it's just that detective in him has struggles with that, and I think that's interesting. So it almost seems like they're making Joker a little bit of a sympathetic character in some ways in the trailer, which it's fine and everything. It's just not something I'm real thrilled about, just personally.
You're not alone, Rick. I kind of feel the same way as you do about that. So,
well, would it change your guys' mind if Batman never shows up and this is a one-off movie?
I think for me personally, it's more that Batman isn't in the movie. To me, they're kind of like a yin and yang. So how can you have one without the other? Like, don't get me wrong. I think it's going to be a great movie. Joaquin Phoenix, I think he's an amazing actor. I'm definitely going to go see it and go check it out. And I have high hopes for it. But to me, at the same time, it just feels a little bit off. It doesn't feel to me like a Joker movie. It feels more like a guy dressed up as a clown doing crazy things or having psychotic breakdown, however they want to twist it. It's one of those things to where I felt like Joker and Batman always kind of originated together. Like, there wasn't truly a Batman until there was a Joker. Like, since he's his greatest villain, like, it's hard for me to picture a movie without him. So again, like, I'm not bashing the movie or anything like that. I hope it does great. I hope it has great reviews. I'm definitely going to go check it out. But at the same time, it's just one of those things that kind of threw me off a little bit, that especially since he's an older Joker. Like, if he was a little bit younger, like in his 20s or something, maybe I can understand it a little bit more. But especially since he's a little bit older. Yeah, especially since he's a little bit older already. Just looking at Joaquin Phoenix here, he looks like he's close to 50 or something like that. Even in the movie, he looks around that age. So it's just a little odd for me that he's so old and this is supposed to be his origin story. So that's just my opinion. But like I said, I'm not bashing it. I have high hopes for it. Hope it does really, really well at the box office, and it continues, a good line of DC movies to come.
Yeah, I'm a big Joker fan, and I see where you guys are coming from. But the first time I saw Joker was the Batman animated series, and as a kid, yeah, Batman kind of goes with Joker, but he was very mysterious, and it's kind of why that was kind of the appeal of him and stuff like that. But now, I'm an adult, and I appreciate what they're trying to do with the Joker story. They're trying to, go a little bit more in depth who is the Joker. And if you don't like that, I understand. But it's kind of cool because they're trying to, you know, explain crazy. They're trying to go to the deep end or the dark end, right? And try to explain to you why someone would be so dark. So I'm wondering if they'll be able to pull it off, really, and if they'll you know, if it'll be good. But I'm excited for it. I think it has potential, definitely.
I think there's room for both. I mean, I like Rick. I prefer, you know, in the comic book and you know, even in Dark Knight, not that to have that confusing sort of, what is this guy? How do I deal with this? Doesn't have a true origin. But I think there's room for both. You know, I don't think that I'm a person who kind of enjoys new interpretations on stories. So, you know, even if they were to change something, as long as it doesn't, you know, as long as, to your point, is done, executed well, I think there's room for both kinds of stories, and you don't have to move it into traditional or standard continuity. It's kind of like an Elseworlds tale is how I sort of deal with those things. You know, being in the you know, you have like Gotham by Gaslight, or you have all these other Elseworld tales, and to me this is kind of like that.
Yeah, it's almost not even like a DC film. It's more like a, you know, a drama or thriller, but it's the Joker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with all of your points. I see both sides of the argument. My favorite villain of all time is the Joker. I love the Joker. I love him in all the different stories I've ever read. I feel like what this movie is, and they've said it's basically just a tragedy. I feel like it is a movie that's supposed to reflect kind of society where we're at right now. I feel like it's more of that sort of conversation piece, just using characters that we might know. I agree with you guys about Joker being older, because I really feel like the way they were kind of going with this movie was more like The Killing Joke, where he is this failed comedian possibly, or, you know, he's just, his life is awful and nothing's going right, and so he takes this job to become, you know, who he becomes. And so I see that part of it. I'm excited about that part of it. Yes, he should have been in his 20s. If you watch the trailer, the man on the TV that's talking is Thomas Wayne. And I feel like he is going to be portrayed as the kind of the villain of the movie. And he, you know, there's a scene where he's at this gate with this kid, and that is going to be Bruce Wayne. So we're not going to see Batman, in my opinion. I think we're just going to see glimpses of Gotham, and it's more of his tale. But getting back to, you know, his origin, his name's Arthur or something. I can't remember what it is. But the great thing about the Joker, in my mind, is that he's had hundreds of different origins. You know, if you even go back to The Dark Knight, how did I get these scars? He has all of these different versions of himself. There's all these different, you know, he's got the short hair, or he's got the Jared Leto look, or he's got the, you know, long, crazy look, or, you know, there's just been so many different versions of him that I think that this movie is just one of those. It's just one of his tales out of the many, many tales that we've had for the last, you know, 50 years of where he comes from. And that's what I love, because to me, that makes it even more muddied, because we don't ever know which one's real. But, you know,
that's what I was going to ask. Aside from the animated series, I really don't know too much about DC stuff. But I do remember in The Dark Knight, he did say, the Joker said, "Oh, how do you think I got these scars?" And I believe he said something about his father giving him those scars. So I was wondering if maybe this movie is actually not really the Joker, is his father that created him. Maybe he was the original Joker and created, you know, the Joker that falls along with Batman, you know, with Bruce Wayne. So, I mean, I don't really know too much about these things. I'm just, you know, in my head, you know, thinking this. But I do think it's cool, and I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to learn more about it. And like I said, I've never really been into DC. I do remember watching the animated series when I was little, but my whole thing was Marvel. So I'm actually very excited to. I've been learning more about these characters, so it's a little bit fun to watch.
That's actually a really cool theory, Barbara.
Yeah, it really
That's
is.
what I really thought in my mind that, you know, because I did put, you know, the two and two together, where everybody was saying that's Bruce Wayne as a kid. So I'm saying, okay, well, if maybe, you know, I know the Joker as the Joker, maybe this is just Joker, the father, you know, the one who created, you know, the actual Joker. So I don't know. In my mind, that's what I've been putting together and maybe fantasizing. I'm like, okay, this is cool. Maybe that's the origin story for the Joker.
Well, it could explain the age difference, maybe.
That's another thing why, everyone's saying, oh, he's a lot older, but I keep thinking in my head, the same scenario. This has to be like the father or something, or something like that. But I think it's cool. I love Joaquin Phoenix. He's a very cool actor, and I think he'll pull off a very great Joker.
Cool.
I think it'll be very cool.
Well, if you end up being right, we're going to send you an award or something. That would be really awesome. That'd be cool. Well, you mentioned Marvel, so another big movie that's coming out is, of course, Endgame. Are you guys pumped for it?
I thought we were going to talk about Dark Phoenix real quick.
No, we can talk about Dark Phoenix. The trailer today. Did you guys all see it?
Yeah, I saw it today.
What'd you think?
Oh no, I was literally just kidding. We could go about Endgame. Endgame's definitely more important. I think more of us want to talk about that.
I'd rather talk about Star Wars than Endgame, but that's just me personally.
Oh,
sorry.
Maybe we could make it brief. I guess. Are you guys pumped about Endgame? I'm really excited about Endgame.
super pumped.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I'm a little bitter. I didn't care for Infinity War all that
What?
much. So,
What?
yeah,
Dude,
I just didn't
Rick,
care for it.
Rick.
I didn't care for it. Man.
Oh my God, you're killing me.
Yeah, it's all
What did
right.
you care for?
It's average. I'll give it a 5 out of 10.
God. Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Brutal.
That is brutal. So, what Marvel movie do you really love?
Honestly, of probably the new Marvel films, I really like Doctor Strange. Just as its own contained thing, it was wonderful. Yeah, because you don't have to watch anything else. It's just like you watch Doctor Strange, and it was great. It's just there's not a lot of forced cameos for all the superheroes and shoved into one movie. So, I liked it. Yeah, that was my favorite.
Cool. Well, that's interesting. I'm surprised by your answer.
Yeah. Well, I
cool.
surprised a lot of people.
You're the first person I've ever actually heard say that they didn't like it.
Yeah.
I've seen people type it.
Yeah, well, yeah, true. Some people type it. I actually just flat out said it, but
Oof.
I didn't hate it, but I give it a 5. I mean, I don't think that's terrible. That's a 5 out of 10. I mean, for some people that might be a good score. I don't know.
Well, I think that you're probably in the minority on that one. But
I figure I probably am.
Yeah.
Actually, he wouldn't be too much in the minority because I'm actually not really excited for Endgame, but I'm excited for Dark Phoenix. I'm like whatever about. I mean, there's certain characters in Avengers that I like, but I'm really not too. X-Men stuff is the thing for me. When the X-Men movie comes out, that gets me excited. But Avengers, I mean, it's all right. I watch it. But like yeah, I'm also a little bit okay. I think I said that actually last week.
You guys are super hard to please. Wow.
No, I mean I'll watch it. I'll enjoy the movies, but I mean if I'm gonna pick and choose, I'd say Dark Phoenix. That I'm excited for. If I had to pick and choose.
What was the X-Men movie before that one?
Apocalypse.
The Apocalypse, yeah.
I still have not seen that one. I saw the other ones, but I haven't seen that one yet. So do I need to watch that before I watch Dark Phoenix?
Probably should watch that one.
Probably, yeah. I would say so.
But that one didn't do as well, right? Movie-wise? Okay.
I mean,
It's worth
the X-Men movies financially will always do well because there's like a huge core following that'll pay to watch those movies. But it did not get received well, especially following Days of Future Past, because that one got received pretty well.
Yeah, that was good.
I mean, is there anything really at the ending that you would have to watch to actually put, Dark Phoenix?
Yeah, the Phoenix. Well, it's the introduction of the whole new young team.
Oh, okay.
Cyclops and Jean and Nightcrawler.
Cool. I thought the preview looked good today.
Yeah, this one was the most exciting out of all the ones prior.
That's cool. I some of you know, and thanks, Tim, again. I just started watching Game of Thrones last night for the very first time. I'm 2 episodes in, and I just realized that Phoenix is the girl on that show. So that's really cool.
Sansa Stark, yeah.
Yeah, that's neat. That's really cool. So that's really awesome. Anybody else want to weigh in on that movie? Are you guys excited about either Lawrence or Jeremy?
Which one? Which one are you talking about still?
Either Endgame or Phoenix.
Phoenix, not so much, but Endgame, yeah, I'm pretty excited about that one. I'm looking forward to going and checking that one out. I don't think I'm gonna be able to see it opening weekend though, just because of like my work schedule, my wife's work schedule. So I'm gonna have to go dark, I guess, for a while, so I don't get anything spoiled for me, because I know it's spoilers already popping up everywhere. So
Yeah, how's
I'll be
that
careful
possible?
for
Have
that.
you guys seen that where they've already released like what 6
Yeah,
minutes or
man.
something? I've been like freaking out, like worried that I'm gonna scroll
People are
past something I shouldn't
super
see.
crappy.
I heard something about like in Europe they released the first 20 minutes like as a special screening or something like that in Europe, and that's how it's being put out. But I mean, anything. I was even looking at like, because I watch sports, so I was even on a NFL Facebook page, and in the comments people were posting like pictures in there. So I mean, it's just already getting ridiculous. It's already everywhere, so you got to just watch out for that.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, let's move on to Star Wars. What do you guys think about that trailer? I was really excited, especially the ending there.
Yeah, I think that one sounds really. I mean, that one was very exciting. I did not care for the last movie. That was not my Luke Skywalker. That was just an old crabby pants man who, it made no sense. I mean, Luke Skywalker was always the guy who, from very early on, just jumped in, was ready to go be a part of the rebellion, was ready to dig in, ready to fight always. And then this last version of Luke Skywalker just completely went against everything that they had built up for the character, in the original series, and it just didn't make any sense that he was just running away from the problem and he wouldn't do anything, and he was, just being a little bitch about it. And
Yeah, he didn't even speak like Luke Skywalker.
no,
Like his face didn't look like him. Like nothing. Like
Well, even the actor wasn't happy with the direction that they were making him go in.
yeah, I mean, Mark Hamill clearly indicated that he wasn't happy with it, and I think I'm
When
hoping.
have you ever seen that?
What's that?
When have you ever seen an actor do that, where he just goes on programs and says, "I'm just disappointed in all of it"?
whenever that's happened, that actor disappears. Edward Norton
Yeah.
comes to mind.
Yeah,
Right.
Well, they
Yeah.
killed him at the end of the movie, right? Mark Hamill's character. I don't know. Does he come back in the third movie?
He's a Force ghost, bro. You know he is.
Okay.
Yeah, he's probably got to be a Force ghost. I'm sure that I'm sure that he'll be back for this movie, but I'm hoping that they retcon some of it I think that they did a really bad job on in the last movie. I think that there's an opportunity here to fix several things. I think they could fix Luke. I think they could fix, some of the stuff with Rey and what her lineage is and who her parents are and that kind of thing. And it's the Palpatine laugh at the end there is obviously very intriguing to understand what's going on there.
That
I love
is, yeah.
Yeah, I think they dropped the ball with the second movie big time, because everyone wanted to know the mystery of like, who is Rey, how is she connected to the world, and they just really dropped the ball on
They
it.
didn't give us any of that.
Yeah, and
Your parents are a bunch of drunks, sold you for booze money.
the trailer though, back to Chris's point though, the trailer, it got me worked up. I was like, oh wow, but it's all in the music, it's all in the sound effects. It's, you know what I mean. I'm not gonna hold my breath until I see the movie. I'm definitely gonna go see it, but.
and I believe the music was Leia's theme. Somebody told me that, and on YouTube they said that was Princess Leia's theme. I thought that was really cool,
Wow.
because that's kind of her swan song. With that they're using that extra footage they had from the first movie. I thought that was really amazing that they did that. Rick, what do you think? I know you wanted to talk about Star Wars.
Yeah, I didn't really. I guess I didn't enjoy the Joker trailer so much, but that one gave me goosebumps. To be honest with you, the Star Wars one, it got me pumped. I mean, I think I spent the entire day when I saw the trailer going around. Do you see the trailer? It's awesome. Watching it over and over again, bothering my wife. She probably got tired of hearing me talking about the Star Wars trailer. It really got me amped, because I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like this is a way for them to go back and just sort of like what Lawrence was saying, retcon some of the stuff to fit kind of more in line with what the hardcore Star Wars fan wants. I feel like they went away from that, and I feel like this is their way of fixing it. It's sort of like saying, we're sorry we screwed up Star Wars. Here's our fix to Star Wars. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think that's the Palpatine thing, Mark Hamill coming back, even if it is a Force ghost, whatever. I think they're going to solve the Rey thing. I think they're probably going to make her some kind of clone, like maybe Luke's clone. maybe the Emperor's clone to kind of explain her powers. I
Maybe
think they're
Darth
going to try
Vader's
their best to
clone.
fix it. Yeah, right. I mean, there's so many options, but I think they have to fix that because I know a big gripe for hardcore Star Wars fans, and I mean hardcore because, you know, there's the casual fans and there's like the people, and I
Who
don't
read
know.
the lore and
Yeah, read the lore. Like I grew up reading all the novels, which they've taken away, and the comics and stuff. So to me, I'm not saying I'm the most hardcore Star Wars fan, but to me, these things matter. So the fact that she has all these abilities is great, but they didn't explain it, and they need to explain that. And I think they're going to fix that. And I think it's going to turn out well. I think what they started in Force Awakens is going to finally pan out here in this movie. And I almost feel like hardcore Star Wars fans who go back and they watch the series, it's going to be like they're going to watch them and then they're going to skip The Last Jedi and they're going to go on and watch this one, because I almost feel like you could throw that one away, to be honest with you, and you could just, if they fix this one, I think they'll be all right. And Disney's about making money, so if they want to make money, they need to fix Star Wars, and this is the way they can do it. So I'm pumped. I mean, I can take or leave Endgame. Like if I didn't watch it for what came out on Blu-ray or whatever, I'd be fine. But the Star Wars one, I've got to see it. I've got to be there. So I'm pretty pumped.
A lot of people here have mentioned that they feel like they're going to right the wrong of Jedi. Now, I didn't mind Last Jedi. There were obviously parts that I hated Luke in general, but there were parts of the movie that I liked. But I feel like with whatever they do to tweak this movie, I think that it's going to make Last Jedi make sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Where you can go back and watch it. It's going to make sense when you watch them all together, even though it pissed people off at the time. But I feel like it's going to right the wrongs, and it's going to make that movie watchable again, just in my opinion. But
yeah, that's fair.
I feel the same way.
I just felt like it was weird. I mean, I didn't hate everything about it. It was odd. There was something bizarre about the movie. If you just go back and rewatch it, it feels like you went into another universe for a few hours. It doesn't feel like a Star Wars movie. It's strange. You know, when you grow up watching them over and over again, there's a certain feel, there's a certain way, and it just felt like he just sort of went.
There's a certain pace to him.
Yeah, pace to it, and it's almost like he just went and said, "I'm going to make my own Star Wars," and he just made a movie, and it's not.
Yeah, the main part that I didn't like about that movie was the casino part. Like, I didn't feel like any of that needed to be in the movie.
Wasted time.
It was a giant waste. It didn't need to be in there. It was like it was trying to be the Cloud City section, but of Empire. I don't know.
And there was a lot of awkwardness too. Like there, you have Rey and Kylo Ren, and there's just super weird awkwardness that's going on with them.
Yeah,
I hope
Is it sexual in nature?
Yeah.
Are they brother and sister?
Exactly.
Are they cousins? What is happening with them? Because it's super awkward.
It's awkward. It was the most awkward thing. It's almost like, when you go and you're like, you're a young man and you go into like the locker room with all the seniors and you're having to undress around them. And it's real awkward because you're like, should I take my shirt off? My pants are off, whatever. That's what it felt like to me. It was like Kylo Ren's kind of shirtless.
You try to open your locker and hide behind it real quick.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, I'm kind of a freshman here, and these guys he looks like he's 30, So
to be honest, they did the exact same thing in the original trilogy with Luke and Leia, where there was always this tension. They even kissed and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden, they're brother and sister. That's what I think is going to happen with this. I think that they're going to be related somehow, and then take on the Emperor or whatever version of the Emperor we're going to have. How do you guys think they're going to bring him back?
He's going to be a ghost too.
Mm-hmm.
Think so?
Ghost
I think
fight.
it'll be a Force ghost. Yeah.
Force ghost fight. Luke versus the Emperor.
Now, I'm not somebody that ever watched the lore. I did read the Timothy Zahn book. What was the one with that first one with Zahn?
Thrawn.
Yeah.
You talk about Thrawn.
Yeah, I did read that book, but I just read recently, and maybe it was in a comic book or something, where the Emperor was responsible for creating Vader or creating Anakin.
Yeah.
And I had never heard that before, so that is really interesting.
There's another comic that I think some people have mentioned. I think it's very possible that this could be actually happening. If you go back and look at Rey's sort of storyline, you see a lot of parallels with Luke Skywalker, right? You got the desert world. She's kind of, feels like she's kind of on her own. She wants to see what's out there, kind of thing. There's even a scene I remember where she's holding like a rebel like helmet, right? and it's almost like she's connecting with Luke Skywalker through space or whatever, like maybe in her memories. So there's a theory out there that maybe, that she's actually a clone of Luke Skywalker, and that the Emperor created her using his hand that was chopped off, that they got a hold of that. There's actually a comic book that was, I don't know how many years ago it was now, but it's probably all eliminated from Disney's lore now, but where they actually cloned Luke and they made an evil version of Luke, and the Emperor did, and he fought against Luke. So I think it's possible that would explain her abilities. If she was a clone of Luke Skywalker, maybe that's why her memories are kind of skewed and she doesn't really have a like parents as we know it. That's just one theory I kind of took to. I think it makes a lot of sense in the context of the story. There's a lot of parallels there. There's a lot of connections with her, like with Luke's lightsaber and when she touches it and stuff. I just think there's a lot there that kind of shows it could very well be she could be a clone, basically.
Quinn St. Kitts in the chat just said Kevin Smith says that Skywalker is the new Jedi Order name.
Yeah, I'd heard that theory
Heard that
too,
too.
which basically means, like basically they're saying, the Jedis have gotten it wrong all these years, and the way that the Jedis have managed things, it helped create Darth Vader because Anakin wasn't allowed to have his relationship with his mother, and he was kind of ripped away from his home environment, and then he wasn't allowed to have a relationship with Padme, and then, obviously all of that led to the creation of Darth Vader, and I think they're saying that, the rise of Skywalker, like Skywalker is basically the new name for the Jedi, but without being so Catholic churchy about it.
Yeah.
So institutionalized.
Right.
It's interesting.
Yes. So we talked about a couple of things giving us some goosebumps. Who had goosebumps for The Lion King? Because the Lion King trailer literally had me have goosebumps. Yo, don't make me break mine out, Tim.
Do it.
What color you got?
Saber off.
I got I have Anakin and Yoda and
Oh, you got a lot.
and Maul.
You know what's crazy is I take this when we go trick or treating with my kids. I take this and it's like a giant glow stick. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's dope.
What version do you guys buy? Because I'm curious about. I've been looking at maybe trying to get one. I didn't know if you guys went with one of those like Kyber Light or
Yeah, Saber Forge.
Saber
Yeah.
Forge.
This is just the FX. Is it FX? Is that what they call it? Just the second version, I guess.
Yeah,
I had one of those.
that's
yeah.
the one I have too.
Have you guys heard about, I'm sure, I know, Tim, you probably heard a little bit about the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disney, that you're going to be able to create your own lightsabers and even like pick your own kyber crystals and, create the hilt to create every aspect of it. And then you can pick your color and then you can have it assembled. But I thought that was really cool.
That's really
insane.
awesome.
Wow.
Chris, speaking of Thrawn, there's an older trilogy. If you want to read a good Star Wars trilogy, read that original Thrawn trilogy. Look that up.
Okay. I'll have to check into that. That's cool.
Yo, we just breezed right past The Lion King, though, guys.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. The last
Whoa.
Because The Lion King changed all of our lives. Unless one of you is going to say you don't like The Lion King, I'm going to get off the chat right now. That's it.
No, I can't say that.
I like the original Lion King. I'm not sure I understand the point of just CGIing the Lion King. Like
They're getting
some of the
next
other
generation, bro.
other remakes, I understand, like with real people, like Beauty and the Beast. That was done really well. Real people, real actors. Aladdin, who knows? It could be good. It could flop. But I feel like the animal one, we're just CGIing animals. That one I just don't. It doesn't translate well for me.
The thing I liked about it
man.
was, especially the intro, was it was shot by shot. It was exactly the same as the original, which was cool in my opinion. But
Yeah,
I agree,
they're
I
getting
think-
the next generation, bro.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it looks cool. Don't get me wrong. I guess I didn't. Just for me personally, it just doesn't translate well. I don't know.
I see
Right.
your point. Like I think Aladdin looked better just because there's people involved and it's a little different. So I
I didn't get any feeling from Aladdin. What? Everybody here is under 40. Barbara, what are you, 22? So
No.
we're the generation that the cartoon has still got a hold of us. They're gonna get the next 30-year old
No, that's a good
kids,
point. Yeah.
and
That's a good
they're gonna just recycle it every 3 decades. Why not?
I mean, yeah, I feel you. I mean, I'm a grown man wearing a Jasmine t-shirt right now, so I mean, I'm Disney all the way, man.
Love it, bro. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah,
awesome.
man. Yeah, it's Jasmine. Yeah.
My daughter.
Hey, Tim, thank you for the Rogues Gallery live shirt. I love that. That is awesome.
Yeah, bro. As soon as I
That's
saw
cool.
the link, I was like, yo, I'm getting one for
That's
sure.
awesome. Thanks. It's
Yeah,
really
man,
cool.
Thank you.
Looks good. Hopefully it printed up well for you.
No, it's great, man. And
Good.
I got the gray one, but it's almost like tie-dyed. It's kind of sweet.
That's
I don't
neat.
have anything that looks like that. So
That's
sweet.
cool. Good. Glad it worked out. That's good. Do you guys want to look at pictures?
Oh, we got pictures.
Sure.
Let's see.
Yeah, Aladdin does look cool, Quinn.
I'm all about Aladdin. Can't go wrong with Aladdin.
Whoa, you guys said Aladdin looks cool? Like the genie, Will Smith?
Yeah, I kind of like Lion King better.
I'm
Yo,
excited for both. Let's see. There they go.
Honestly, I'd watch Aladdin over Endgame if I had to choose.
Oh no.
Wow.
Can you
Damn.
guys see this?
Yeah.
So this is the life-size Iron Man that just came out today. I owned the Mark III bust, the original bust that Sideshow had, and it was very similar, but it didn't have the arc reactor. It had a very similar base. I mean, almost identical. This one, I believe, was like $1,300, maybe $1,350, which I didn't think was too bad for life-size. Seems like a lot of those are going for around $2,000 now, depending on what you get. But what do you guys think of this piece?
I think it's cool. I was looking into one of these, the original one, but I think it's cool that they're the difference is the light piece, right? The chest piece
Yeah, yeah.
and the shoulders.
and the shoulders. Yeah.
The little chest, like this, it didn't have all of this in there. It was just like the two gray pieces, but it has a lot more mechanics and the shoulder guards. So there's more to it. It's a cooler looking piece, I think.
Yeah, I love it. I'm not gonna pay for it, but I love it.
I
Yeah,
know
I
not
don't know. I
everybody
mean,
does.
yeah. I like it.
Let's see. But I thought it was cool that they had the extra light up this time.
That's still my favorite Iron Man suit.
Yeah, me too. I love Mark III.
Mm-hmm.
I like Mark
Yeah, I
IV.
have the
Mark
Mark
6. I like Mark 6 too.
I have the Mark 6 legendary bust.
That's cool. That's a cool piece. That's the one with the fist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a neat piece. So this is a new Harley Quinn art print. Tim, you're into the art prints. Is this one that you might pick up?
I gotta stay away from them. I have too many of them. I like it though. I really like it. Someone was saying that it reminds them of the Prime One. Harley Quinn, or did you say Poison Ivy?
Oh, I probably did say yeah. It's Poison Ivy. Sorry.
Yeah. Someone was
One
saying
of
that
the
it was
sirens.
the Prime One, right? The statue. The
Yeah, like
one
the
where-
last one.
yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
So that would go good with that statue, I think. For
Yeah,
sure.
I agree. I think
Yeah.
that'd be cool. Let's see. This was one that's been out for a little bit here. This is the Iron Studios diorama. Again, you collect the diorama pieces. Is this one you'd pick up?
It's already pre-ordered.
Nice.
Boom!
Right.
Someone was asking me like if they should get it. I'm like, there's no edition size yet, but all of them have been 500 and under. And since the asking price is like $800, it's
$800.
The edition size is going to be low because it's not going to be that many people ordering this. So and then when they sell out, you can't find them. It's tough.
They all disappear.
They do.
Yeah.
I love all the little Easter eggs. You know, Killer Croc down here in the sewer. Just a lot of cool elements to this piece. Some people didn't love. Let's see. I think I've got Joker's face here. Like some people didn't love Joker's face, but again, I think you're mostly going to see it as a side profile anyway.
Yeah, I think it's more comic, cartoony looking, accurate than more realistic. They're not going for a realistic look.
Well, yeah, and he's getting choked in the throat, so I don't know. Makes sense.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like this one a lot.
I think it's a cool piece.
It's
I
awesome.
like the Killer Croc on the sewer part. That's my favorite part.
It's something really different. I mean, sometimes there's little sewer elements, but I love these peeking down there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like that.
That's neat. Let's see what else we got here.
Yeah, I think Iron Studios does a nice job because of who they model their sculptures after. I mean, most of them are Ivan Riez, And I just, for whatever reason, that just translates really, really well. I think in this medium.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
This is up maybe A-Tim. Did you order this one?
I can't see it. Oh, cable? No.
Cable.
No, I already have 3 cable statues, so I think I'm cabled out.
Let's see. Is it still showing large on your screen, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was looking at a message. Jeff Morse was messaging us.
Okay. I just want to make sure you guys could see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people have been comparing this one to the XM Studios one. I prefer the XM one.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really compare them. They're totally different. The sideshow one is more comic, and the other one's more more realistic. So I guess it just goes for preference on what you like. I have the XM one. I'm happy with that one, and I actually have a small 1/6 Diamond Select cable that I actually like too. So I think with cable, I'm good. I mean, this one looks cool. I don't like the portals, but it's not bad looking. But I'm not ordering that one.
There's the portal she's talking about there on the back.
I love it, man. I think it's a dope piece.
I like the colors.
Yeah, I do too. I actually think that's, in my opinion, the best X-Men one they've shown, just on a personal level. Just visually, I like the way it's designed.
Awesome.
That's bold.
Yeah, a lot of detail.
It is bold. I go bold, if you haven't noticed.
Well, I like you going rogue, Rick.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep, that's it.
This was the XM Studios, I believe it's the Samurai Robin. Anybody collecting this line? Or I know it's not for everybody.
Nope.
I like it though.
I think they look awesome. Just not my thing.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Agree.
Yeah, I agree too.
Barb,
What was that? I'm sorry.
Samurai Batman line.
Oh, well, that one I saw. Yeah, I like that one a lot. That's a 1/6, right?
No, I think
This would be
quarter, isn't it?
This would be quarter.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
I thought somebody said it was like 1/5 or 1/6 or.
No, they're
No,
doing
the samurai line's all 1/4, I think.
yeah.
Oh,
The other line, the comic book line, is smaller.
Yeah,
Oh.
1/6.
yeah, no, it's a very cool statue.
Jeff Morris, he came in like a wrecking ball.
That's I like Jeff. I like it.
Jeff is
now,
funny,
now
man.
that he said that, I kind of like it more. That's awesome.
Miley
That's the
Cyrus.
exclusive. That's the
Yeah.
exclusive. Yeah.
Miley Cyrus could be one of the greatest artists of our generation.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god.
Wow.
Yo, says the guy who doesn't like Infinity War. Sometimes if I'm bored, I just put Infinity War on and just let it play in the background.
What can I say? I like Miley. I can't help it. What am I supposed to do about that? I mean, come on.
Did you guys notice the vines down here on the bottom? That could be part of like kind of poison ivy to match your vines. That's kind of cool. I hadn't noticed that until
Oh
tonight.
yeah, I hadn't seen that either.
That's neat. Well, I put this in because I know Jeff likes to collect hot toys, but what do you guys think of the face sculpt on this guy?
Crazy.
That face sculpt is amazing.
Good.
Pretty sweet.
Hot Toys. Hot Toys kills it.
Rick, it's time to say the line.
Buy a damn Hot Toy.
There you go. Been waiting for that one all day.
Yeah,
That's the best Jeremy Renner's ever looked.
Yeah, no kidding.
That haircut, man. It's the best.
All right, here's another one. X-Men here. We got this one has kind of been kind of trashed a little bit for the flames coming out of her neck. But what do you guys think? Of it?
That just looks odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the neck
Yeah, it
and
looks odd, but without it, I'm fine with it.
You know, with.
Yeah, it looks
I like that portrait.
Yeah, I do too. I like
Yeah.
that portrait better.
Yeah, you know, the mouth slightly open, the little bit more furrowed brow.
Yeah, she looks.
I wish that fire was removable.
Is it not?
I assume it's going to be part of the head sculpt because it looks like the seam is on the under her collarbone. So I
Yeah.
think that whole piece clicks in.
Well, even if you could take it off, you'd still probably have holes there.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Unless it's magnetic, which would be super tight
That would be cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, even if you look at her portrait in that other picture, Chris, you could tell that the seam is right under the collarbone. So that's what I also thought. I also said the same thing, that those flames have to be attached to that portrait. Because then even if you take off the flames, you would have the holes or whatever it attaches.
What if it like is all one piece and it wraps around the back of her neck?
That would be interesting too. It
could.
it gets held in by her hair.
Yeah, it could.
It could.
It probably won't be, but that'd be neat if it did, because then that way you could have that other head sculpt option.
Yeah.
So explain to me. I don't know much about this character, A-Tim, but explain to me why the flames are different than the flames down on the base.
So the flames on her base are her normal power.
Her kinetic.
Yeah. So she's using her psionic powers to like lift her up.
Okay.
And that's been depicted in the Bowen statue, which this was sculpted by the same artist who sculpted that statue. And it's not, I mean, it's typically, from my knowledge, not flames. It's more like waves. I don't know how to explain it. But I guess I would not have made them flames. And then I would not have made the flames on her body a different color than the flames on the base.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like they kind of placate to the fact that Jean Grey is only the Phoenix. That's the only thing that makes her special, and that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
You know, and I love the Phoenix, you know, but...
Where would you rather have had them put the
See, I was
flames
more
at?
of a Jean Grey fan. The Phoenix is cool, but Jean Grey is like one of my favorite X-Men, so I've always liked her. So it kind of disappoints me too.
Where would I think the flame placement on her hands is cool. I just would have matched that. I would have matched that color to the color of the base.
Of the base, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That would have looked really cool.
And that would have looked super cool. And then maybe made the jewel in her forehead light up the same color. And that would have been super cool
That's cool.
as an exclusive. But what do I know?
Did any of you guys pick this one up?
No.
I'll buy that in 5 years when it's dirt cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can wait.
You have learned from the guru, my friend.
Yeah, I can wait, man.
Thor Gunderson.
Yep.
This one went up for pre-order this last week. I still think it's an amazing statue.
I love it. Yeah. It's huge.
It is big. That base. Crazy.
It's massive.
This is half scale, right?
I think it's third.
Oh,
it's
is it
one third, yeah.
Oh, it is one third.
Third.
Right.
Third with a massive base.
That one was up for pre-order, and then this one, I don't know anything about this one. This was up this week.
Yeah, I don't either.
Apparently really popular in parts of the world.
Yeah, there's a Netflix show or movie. You catch the Netflix movie, but I don't understand. She in the movie she doesn't wear anything like that, so I don't understand it.
Weird.
Sex sells.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This is the Tweeterhead Batgirl. Been on sale the last couple weeks. I think this is really well done.
Beautiful.
Yep.
I just love how they, Chad is able to capture these, these classic looks of these characters. Now, I do say sometimes they do look a little bit like the Sideshow versions of them with the pose. And this one does a little bit, but I just think she's really well done.
Yeah, I do too. I'm getting the Batman, but
Yeah, just sticking with that. What do you guys think about 10 scale stuff?
Too
Too
I
small?
like it.
Too small?
I like it, but probably too small for me.
I just started a 10th scale line.
Did you really? What did you start?
I think it was like 3 weeks ago. I ordered the first 2 X-Men from the Iron Studios line.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was Mystique and Professor Xavier.
Yeah, I think they can be done really well because you look at like Batman Black and White and DC Collectibles or whatever they're calling themselves nowadays they've really executed those really well. So I think Iron Studios I think they're executing this 110 size really well also.
I agree, man. And that price point, $100.
Yeah.
I'm just amazed by how how much detail they're putting in these things.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, they're killing it. They're killing
that
it.
scale.
Imagine if they had the quarter scale line.
Oh my gosh, crazy.
They did do a quarter scale thickness.
Oh yeah, they
Yeah.
did. You're right.
Yeah.
But if they had like a full quarter scale line, like can you pull up the Professor Xavier while we're on it? If you look at this statue, I don't know if you guys saw it. If this thing was quarter scale, this thing would sell out so fast. I mean, within 10 minutes, the statue would sell out. It has so much detail in it.
It's by Iron Studios.
Yeah, Iron Studios Xavier 1/10. It's on the Sideshow site.
I think the 1/10 are becoming extremely popular as of lately,
Yeah.
especially with the detail and then like just like the poses and the base. Like I watched PJ's review of his Star-Lord and how he was stepping on like the magic from Doctor Strange. Like I thought, like it was just crazy, the design of it. I didn't even see anything like that. And so they could pull off some crazy stuff in 1/10 scale.
Yeah, they're Frank Miller, their Dark Knight with Gary Kelly as Robin. That statue, just them kind of flying up over the Gotham rooftops there.
I
And
like
it's
that
just
one too.
all of their 110s are executed really well.
This one you're talking about, ATM?
Yep.
It's
I don't
amazing.
even know if I saw this one. This one's cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's like a fantastic portrait. That's the pose that you want. You get the switch out Cerebro helmet. Suit is right. The chair is right. You get that sweet base. You get the chest table tipped over with pieces on the ground. I mean, it's got details for days.
Yeah.
And that thing is 7 inches tall. How's
Yeah,
that possible?
Yeah, look at the carpet.
It's impressive.
It's crazy, man. You know, and then I think, man, if Sideshow just made this piece, could they even? I don't know.
That's pretty awesome.
I would buy that in quarter scale. They could charge me $1,000. I would buy it.
I bet a lot of people would have for 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Would it be considered what do they call it? A throne piece?
Yeah, exactly.
People do love their
Throne.
throne pieces.
Yeah, they do.
That's too funny. Well, it is amazing what they're able to do with any of these scales, let alone something that small. I'm amazed by the paint apps on these things, but pretty amazing. Well, I think we'll wrap it up for tonight. Thank you guys so very much for being in the gallery. I really enjoyed hearing about your collections. That's my favorite thing about being a collector, is not like just collecting my own things, but I love to see what other people are collecting. And like Rick said a while ago, is changing your focus, and that's what I find the most exciting, is being able to experience the pieces that I would really like to have through collectors like you guys. Because we all want everything if we can, but it's just not feasible. So that's one of my favorite parts of being in this community, is to be able to see what you guys collect and hear your stories. So I thank you for sharing those with me tonight.
Oh, thanks, my brother.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Well, we'll be back in a couple weeks, and that show. Sorry. No, I'm sorry. I thought somebody said something. But anyway, we'll be back in a couple weeks. Thank you guys, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate everybody in the chat. I always like to go back and read everything after the fact. So again, thank you guys for being in here, and we'll see you guys in a couple weeks. And I'll see you in the back cave. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Everybody.
Good night, guys.
Night.
Peace.